James Madison, often hailed as the father of the Constitution, knew exactly what it took to build a free and enduring nation. His vision was not just about creating a set of laws, but about laying down a foundation that would protect the liberties of every citizen. He had a profound understanding of the dangers of tyranny and oppression, having witnessed firsthand the heavy hand of British rule over the American colonies. That's why he, along with the other founding fathers, enshrined the Second Amendment in the Constitution. It was not a mere afterthought, but a crucial element of the new republic. Madison's vision was to empower the people, to ensure that they had the means to protect their newfound freedom. It was his way to ensure that the government would always be held in check by its citizens, that it would never grow so powerful as to become a threat to the very people it was meant to serve. The Second Amendment is clear and unequivocal. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. These words were carefully chosen to convey a powerful message. These words are not up for debate or reinterpretation. They are the bedrock of our freedom, a fundamental right that underpins the very essence of our society. They are the principles that ensure our liberty and protect us from the overreach of government power. Madison, along with the other founding fathers, knew that power has a tendency to corrupt. They had seen it firsthand with the British, who had imposed their will on the colonies without regard for the rights of the people. They had experienced the consequences of unchecked power and were determined to create a system that would prevent such abuses in the future. They knew that a government left unchecked would inevitably become tyrannical, and that the only way to prevent this was to ensure that the people had the means to defend themselves. The Second Amendment was their answer to this problem. It was their way of ensuring that the government would always be accountable to the people. It was the ultimate check on government power, a safeguard against tyranny. The Second Amendment is not about hunting or recreational shooting. It's not about target practice or sport. It's about the fundamental right of the people to defend themselves, their families, and their homes for all threats, both public and private. It's about defending themselves from criminals and those who would do them harm. But more importantly, it's about defending themselves from a government that has become too powerful, a government that has overstepped its bounds and threatens the very freedoms it was created to protect. The Second Amendment is a reminder that the ultimate power in this nation lies with the people, and that they have the right and the means to protect their liberty. It is a testament to the foresight of the Founding Fathers and their unwavering commitment to the principles of freedom and liberty. James Madison's legacy lives on in the words of the Second Amendment, a foundation of freedom that continues to protect and empower the people of this great nation. The Second Amendment wasn't something dreamed up out of thin air. It has a rich and complex history that stretches back centuries. It has deep roots in English common law, which has influenced many legal systems around the world, and the English Bill of Rights of 1689, a pivotal document that laid the groundwork for many modern democratic principles. Our founding fathers were students of history. They meticulously studied past societies and legal frameworks to craft a new nation. They understood that the right to bear arms was essential to a free people. This wasn't just a theoretical idea, it was a practical necessity for ensuring liberty. The English Bill of Rights recognized the right of Protestants to have arms for their defense. This was a significant acknowledgement of individual rights at the time. This right was not given by the king. It is a right that is rooted in the tradition of natural law. It was a right that existed long before any king or government. It is a natural right, inherent in every individual, recognized by philosophers and legal scholars alike. This concept of natural rights was revolutionary and formed the bedrock of many Enlightenment ideas. Our founding fathers saw the same need for a well-armed citizenry in America. They believed that a well-armed populace was a safeguard against tyranny and oppression. They knew that a disarmed populace was vulnerable to tyranny. History had shown them that those without the means to defend themselves were often subjugated. They had seen it happen in England. The struggles and conflicts of the past were fresh in their minds as they drafted the new nation's laws. They were determined to ensure it wouldn't happen here. The lessons of history were clear, and they were committed to creating a society where freedom could flourish. The Second Amendment is a direct descendant of these English ideals. It encapsulates the belief that the right to bear arms is fundamental to maintaining liberty. It is a testament to the timeless principle that the right to bear arms is essential for a free society. This principle has endured through the ages, reminding us of the importance of vigilance and the protection of our rights. Today, the Second Amendment continues to be a topic of debate and discussion, reflecting its enduring significance in American life. As we look back on the roots of the Second Amendment, we see a rich tapestry of history, philosophy, and law that has shaped our understanding of freedom and individual rights. The journey from English common law to the American Constitution is a testament to the enduring power of ideas and the relentless pursuit of liberty. The Second Amendment stands as a reminder of the sacrifices made and the principles upheld to ensure that freedom remains a cornerstone of American society. It is a legacy that continues to inspire and challenge us to this day, urging us to remember the roots of our freedoms and the responsibilities that come with them. The Second Amendment explicitly mentions the importance of a well-regulated militia. This was not some vague concept to the founders. The militia was the armed citizenry. The militia was every able-bodied male. It was the group of citizen soldiers ready and able to defend their homes and their freedom. The militia was seen as the best defense against tyranny, both foreign and domestic. A standing army, on the other hand, was viewed with suspicion. It was seen as a tool that could be used by a tyrannical government to oppress its own people. The founders believed that the best way to ensure freedom was to have a nation of well-armed citizens. They believed that a well-armed populace was the best deterrent against tyranny. They were right. The debate over a standing army versus a citizen militia was a hot topic in the early days of our nation. Anti-federalists, those who opposed the ratification of the Constitution, feared a powerful central government. They saw a standing army as a threat to individual liberty. The Religious Objector Clause, now often overlooked, highlights this concern. It recognized the right of individuals to refuse to bear arms based on their religious beliefs. This clause demonstrates the deep respect the founders had for individual conscience and the right to choose how to defend one's own liberty. This debate wasn't just about military strategy. It was about power. It was about who had the ultimate authority, the people or the government. The Second Amendment wasn't just about militias. It was about the right of the individual to keep and bear arms. This right was seen as an inherent right, passed down from our ancestors over centuries. Anti-federalists, wary of a powerful federal government, fought hard for the inclusion of the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. They understood that the right to bear arms was a crucial safeguard against tyranny. They knew that a disarmed populace was a vulnerable populace. They understood that the right to bear arms was not just about self-defense from criminals. It was about self-defense from a potentially tyrannical government. Section 6. Modern misunderstandings, individual liberty and self-defense. Sadly, the true meaning of the Second Amendment has been twisted and manipulated in recent years. Some would have you believe it's outdated, irrelevant in the modern world. They couldn't be more wrong. The right to self-defense is a fundamental human right. It's not granted by any government, and it certainly can't be taken away. The Second Amendment simply recognizes this right and prohibits the government from infringing upon it. The Second Amendment is about freedom. It's about individual liberty. It's about the right of every American to defend themselves, their families, and their property. Section 8. Gun control. A slippery slope to tyranny. Gun control is not about safety, it's about control. It's about disarming law-abiding citizens and leaving them at the mercy of criminals and a potentially tyrannical government. Every gun control law is a step toward tyranny. It's a chipping away at our fundamental rights. It's a betrayal of the legacy of our founding fathers. We must resist any and all attempts to restrict our Second Amendment rights. We must stand firm against those who would disarm us. Our freedom depends on it. Section 9. The future of freedom. Preserving the Second Amendment for our children. The Second Amendment is more than just words on a page. It is a sacred trust, passed down from generation to generation. We have a duty to protect it, to preserve it for our children and grandchildren. We cannot allow the Second Amendment to be eroded by those who fear freedom, who fear an armed citizenry. We must teach our children the true meaning of the Second Amendment. We must teach them that it is the cornerstone of American freedom. The future of our nation, the future of freedom itself, depends on it. In conclusion, the Founding Fathers included the Second Amendment as a safeguard against tyranny. They had just fought a bloody war against an oppressive government and feared that the government they were creating could become tyrannical. History has shown time and again that tyranny does not just happen all of a sudden. It creeps in slowly over time. We have allowed our rights to be eroded in the name of public safety and for the general welfare. This is the same way that societies have been disarmed and enslaved for centuries. We must stop these infringements on our rights, or one day we will wake up and have no rights. Our children and grandchildren will have no rights and risk becoming enslaved due to our negligence. The Constitution does not give the government any power to regulate any of our rights, least of all the right to keep and bear arms. Any law or regulation that infringes on the Second Amendment in any way is unconstitutional. Shall not be infringed means exactly that. No permits or permission slips, no bans on magazine capacity or rate of fire, no limit on where or what can be carried, no limit on caliber or mounted accessory. I will not follow any law or regulation that infringes on any of my God-given rights. Stay frosty, my friends. Keep your head down and your powder dry.